Hello, internet friends! This week for meal prep, I'm making my best friend's all-time favorite Disney Parks foods. We're rope dropping Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios to pick up a Breakfast Ronto Wrap. Then we'll park hop over to the Magic Kingdom, head over to Adventureland to grab a Cheeseburger Spring Roll before setting sail on the Pirates of the Caribbean. If we haven't met before, I'm Laurel, and I've lost 60 pounds on WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers. And I want to show you how livable and delicious this lifestyle can be. All of the recipe details and the points values can be found in the description below. Now let's get to the kitchen! I'm starting by preheating my oven to 425. This is for both the mini spring rolls and the sausages. Then I need to get my veggies chopped. Today I need half a cup of pickles and half of a red onion, and I'm chopping them together because they're being cooked together. I'm using my vegetable chopper today, which I've linked in the description because it's awesome and it's the only way I can chop onions. This is the size of chop we're looking for. I'm gonna set this aside while I finish crying over the sink. Stupid onions. I need to start the filling for my mini spring rolls first. I have a pound of 96% extra lean ground beef that I'm browning in a pan over medium-high heat. I want the beef to be in small pieces, so I get in there with my potato masher. Once the beef is just nearly cooked, add the onions and pickles and let that cook for about 5 minutes over medium-high heat. Once the onions are translucent, we can turn off the heat and add a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce and 2 tablespoons of mustard. Get all that combined and add 3 ounces of Velveeta shreds. Stir the mixture until the cheese melts. So I know I've been calling these spring rolls or mini spring rolls, but I'm actually making little dumplings. I guess wontons are closer to what they are. I get this into a bowl so I can set that aside to cool for a little bit while I clean up and get the next step ready. I start with a package of wonton wrappers and a little dish with a 1/4 cup of water and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. At this point, my cheeseburger filling is cool enough to work with. You can do these by hand by putting half a tablespoon of filling in the middle of a wonton wrapper, adding the cornstarch slurry to the edges of the wonton wrapper, then folding in half and pressing it closed. Or you could use a dumpling cube like I have. You can make 4 wontons at the same time. Each wonton still gets half a tablespoon of cheeseburger mixture and brush the outsides with the cornstarch slurry. Then close the dumpling cube and press down to seal the edges of all 4 wontons. I like to go over the seams with my fingers to make sure they're closed. Since we're baking them, it doesn't really matter. I line them all up on cooking sheets and spray them with cooking spray. I then sprinkle them with salt. These bake for 5 minutes, then swap the tray's locations on the oven rack and bake for another 5 minutes. Keep an eye on them to make sure they don't burn, but to be honest, I really like the ones that are a little burned. So I realized that I forgot to put my sausages in the oven to crisp up, so I do that now. These should cook for about 5 or 10 minutes, which is why I wanted to get them in with the wontons. Since I'm using fully cooked sausages, it doesn't really matter if they cook or not. For the sauce, I combined a bunch of different copycat recipes for the Ronto Wrap peppercorn sauce, and I came up with this WW-friendly version. I start with 3 tablespoons of McCormick country gravy and add 1 cup of unsweetened cashew milk. I turn the heat to medium and let this come to a simmer to thicken up. Then I turn off the heat and add it to a bowl and set it aside to cool for a bit while I work on my eggs. For the eggs, I'm using a small pan about the size of my pitas. I turn my heat to medium-low, spray the bottom of the pan with cooking spray, and take 1 whole egg and add 3 tablespoons of egg whites. I season with salt and pepper and put a lid on it. The trick is don't move the egg, and it'll come out just fine as long as you've used enough cooking spray. It only takes a few minutes to cook the top. You can absolutely just scramble your eggs and divide them evenly among your wraps instead of doing this overly complicated egg pancake thing that I'm doing. We'll see if it's even worth it or if I just wasted a ton of time for no reason. Back to the sauce. Now that it's cooler, I weigh out 2 tablespoons of light mayonnaise, which is 30 grams, and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of lime juice, half a teaspoon of lemon pepper seasoning, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of coarsely ground black pepper, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground coriander, and 1 tablespoon of sugar replacement. I use this all-purpose in the raw 0-calorie blend that really does taste exactly like sugar. It measures 1 for 1 too. I have it linked below. I've never had the Ronto Wrap, so I'm not sure what the sauce tastes like. I'm essentially taking the internet's word for it. Either way, this sauce is so good, and it's impossible to describe what it tastes like. It's tangy and peppercorny. It's so delicious. Time to get things plated up. I'm using Joseph's Heart Friendly pita bread. It's oat and stone ground whole wheat. They're 1 point each. They don't fit very well in my meal prep containers, which is just as fine. I'm going to just grab them when I need them. First in the containers are the eggs, which are 2 points on green, 0 points on blue and purple. The reason I made them like pancakes was because I want them to be easy to get out of the container and onto the wraps. On top go my chicken sausages, which are 2 points each. Now for the sauce. I don't want the sauce to make things soggy, so I'm adding the sauce to a silicone baking cup and just putting it in the container. There's more than enough sauce for each wrap, and each container of sauce is only 1 point. Here is the final meal prep. Each meal prep, including the pita, is 6 points. I divide up the cheeseburger mini spring rolls in bags of 7. 7 of these are 6 points. I also packaged up 2 bags for my husband. We love anything wrapped up in wonton wrappers, and this recipe made 7 servings. Here are the finished cheeseburger mini spring rolls, or cheeseburger wontons, or whatever I've decided to call them. That's all I have to share with you today. This is the last week for my Disney meal prep series. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm also really going to miss the excuse to wear my ears so often. If any of these recipes looked yummy to you, go ahead and click that like button. It's a great way to say thank you, and it helps my videos find other people. If you're interested in the full Disney Parks meal prep series, you can catch up on that right here. If you have other ideas for meal prep series that you'd like to see, go ahead and leave that in the comments. I am open for suggestions. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you again next time. Bye!